So unfortunately, Donald Trump says a lot of things that I personally wouldn't say.
I mean, he quote tweeted an article saying that Democrats don't want the military to follow any unlawful order that he has made or will make. And then he's like, hey, fucking hang him. Like, come on, dude.
Did I not say he says a lot of outlandish things? Did I not just say that?
So can we agree that one of the outlandish things that he said is that they should be executed?
I wouldn't have said that.
We're just trying to agree on a base set of facts here. We could agree that he said this.
I wouldn't have said it. You know, a lot of times the media takes what he says and takes it out of context.
Wow, dude, I'm not even referencing the media and justifying my claim here. I'm literally just appealing to what he posted on Truth Social. I'm not asking you if you would say this. I'm just seeing if we could agree that he said this. Right now, everybody, what's going on, Finn? Do you support Trump?
Absolutely. How are you doing tonight?
Well, Finn, I'm doing great. I'm having a good one out here. Mindy, I appreciate you for that galaxy. Now, ooh, boy, I definitely want to have a conversation with you, man. So you're a big MAGA guy. You came up here with confidence. I asked you if you support Trump, and you said, I absolutely do. Listen, dude. How? Okay? Right? We're like learning today that Congress is literally investigating the Trump administration for potential war crimes and murder in the South Caribbean. He refused to abide by a court order to feed 16 million starving American children. He called for the death of Democrats. He raped a woman, was found guilty of 34 felonies. He's a tyrannical mess.
Yeah, obviously I don't agree with anything you just said, obviously.
Of course, obviously.
So the justice system, let's take it one by one. So now you talked about Pete Hegseth being investigated by Congress. He's denying it. And we all know people get investigated in every administration. So that what you just said today, let's wait until we have more facts in the thing. It just came out today. So
if what the Washington Post is reporting is true, then it's absolutely either murder or
here we go
war
again.
crime.
So you're judge, jury. You don't know if it's true, so it's moronic to even say.
Can we agree that
we're not that?
Can we agree that if it's true,
we're not that far. We're not that far down the trough yet. We're not that far down the trough yet. It just came out today, and you know people get investigated every administration, so that's all right.
Can we agree that if it's true that Pete Hegseth, ordered the military to kill them all, and the military then dropped a bomb on these two incapacitated men hanging on for dear life off the side of a piece of a vessel in the Caribbean Sea, that would be a war crime under international law if there's an official armed conflict declared?
I'll agree. We both should wait till all the facts come out before we make an assumption.
Well,
what you're doing now. Finn's not
going to answer the question, so we can move on.
I just did it. I didn't answer the way you wanted me to answer, but I answered the question.
No, because my question was an if-then conditional statement. I'm saying if this occurred, then would it be a war crime?
I'm telling you that I am not going to go out publicly and say that someone committed a war crime without having all the facts.
Well, that's not even what I'm asking you to do.
As you've decided to do.
That's not even what I'm asking you to do. I'm saying if this occurred, then would it be a war crime?
I don't have all the facts. I can't answer that question.
Okay.
I'm telling you what I can't tell you.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
What I can't tell you is people in every administration get investigated, and you know that's correct. And I'm willing to go that far. People get investigated.
Do you think that Donald Trump should be investigated for calling for the execution of Democrats?
So unfortunately, Donald Trump says a lot of things that I personally wouldn't say, but we both know again that he didn't call for I mean, come on.
Sure he did. I mean, he quote tweeted an article saying that Democrats don't want the military to follow any unlawful order that he has made or will make. And then he's like, hey, fucking hang him. Like, come on, dude.
You can fool a lot of people. I know you're a smart guy. I mean, look at the followers you have. You're a smart guy. You're very astute. I know you don't believe what you say, but that's okay. But we both know he didn't call for come on.
Should I put the tweets up? Should I put it up on screen when he said seditious behavior? This is punishable by death. Should I put it up on screen when he retweeted one of his followers' comments saying, hang them, George Washington? It's like, should I put it on screen so you can't just deny it? Because I can. I have it right here. Do you want to see it?
Did I or did I not say he says a lot of outlandish things? Did I not just say that?
So can we agree that one of the outlandish things that he said is that they should be executed?
I wouldn't have said that.
We're just trying to agree on a base set of facts here. Hopefully, one of those facts in the base set would be that he said this, right?
Again, I think I've answered your question.
Is it a yes? It's a yes, right? You agree? We could agree that he said this.
I wouldn't have said it. You know, a lot of times the
Finn.
media
Oh,
takes what he
God.
says and takes it out of context.
Wow, dude,
A
I'm
lot
not
of
even
times he says-
referencing the media and justifying my claim
Okay.
here. I'm literally
Okay.
just appealing to what he posted on Truth Social. I'm not asking you if you would say this. I'm just seeing
Yeah.
if we could agree that he said this. Step number one, did he say this?
So the media has taken what he said out of context,
Brother.
since 2006. Listen, you can shake your head. You're right. I know you. Listen, you're not going to fool me. You can fool everybody else. I know you're a smart and bright and astute person, and you know the media has twisted his words over the last 10 years now. So I'm not going. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Another ridiculous statement.
Dude, wow, you're
It's your,
wasting.
it's your show,
I feel like
but
Finn.
I'm
I
trying
feel
to
like
answer your questions. You won't let me.
Finn, I feel like you're wasting everybody's time here. Okay, because I'm just gonna repeat.
decision.
I'm just
I'm
gonna
willing to tell you why
Finn,
I
can I
love Donald
talk?
Trump.
Can I talk?
Sure, it's your show.
Great. So I'm just going to repeat what I just said. Okay. In justifying my claim that Donald Trump called for the execution of Democrats, I'm not appealing to CNN. I'm not appealing to MSNBC. I'm appealing to what he posted on Truth Social about a week and a half ago. Okay. You could go. We could do this together. If you want me to put it up on screen, literally just ask and I shall do it for you. He reposted an article from the Washington Examiner titled, "Democrat lawmakers in Congress urge members of our military to not abide by unspecified unlawful orders." And then he reposted that and he responded to it by saying that this is traitorous, this is sedition, this is terrible, they shouldn't be allowed to say this. Then he had a follow-up tweet that said, "This is seditious behavior, it's punishable by death." And then he had a follow-up repost to his original tweet that says, "Hang them," in all caps, George Washington Wood. Okay? And all that I'm trying to get us to agree on here is that what I'm saying is accurate, what I'm saying is true, and what I'm saying actually took place. Okay? We're not putting a spin on it. We're not appealing to any liberal media. We're looking at what he posted himself. I'm certainly not asking you if you would say this. I'm just asking you if we could agree that he said this.
So I noticed you use CNN and MSNBC, and we can agree that you were right to use those two because it's fake news. So we can agree that they both are fake news. So I'll give you that point. As far as the other point, I'm not 100% sure what was said and wasn't said. I'm being honest. I can't go along with what you want me to go along with. I'm sorry.
The president of the United States. Let's just take a look together. You need to know. Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social. He responded to a post published by the Washington Examiner titled, "Democratic veterans in Congress urge service members to refuse unspecified unlawful orders," by saying that this is really bad and dangerous to our country and that their words cannot be allowed to stand. He then followed that up with a second post that reads, "This is seditious behavior, punishable by death." And then he reposted a comment that reads, quote unquote, "Hang them, George Washington Wood." This is the most dystopian thing You can't deny it now, buddy.
I got it. I saw it. Thank you but I've already saw it, but you can show it to me again if you want. But I gave you my answer. I wouldn't have said it. I told you that 3 times.
I feel like if Biden was president today and Biden called for the death of Republicans, MAGA would be throwing a field day. Okay. You guys would be having an absolute field day. You guys would be calling for his immediate impeachment. You'd be calling for his immediate removal from office. And honestly, you'd be justified in doing so because no sane nor reasonable American would ever stand for the president of the United States of America directly calling for the death of his political opponents because his political opponents told our military to honor the oath that they took to this country and to its law and constitution. Okay? And all of a sudden, when Trump does it, you just don't really seem to care too much. You don't really see where I'm coming from when I'm like, this is a really good reason to stop supporting him. And all that you could say is that, well, maybe he shouldn't have said it. Maybe he says a lot of outlandish shit. And maybe I wouldn't say that if I was in his shoes. Okay, what we need to do is we have to stop sane washing the insane. We have to stop engaging in the cognitive dissonance. You have built a wall of inevitability around Trump surrounding his ludicrousy, insanity, tyranny, and dictatorial attitude. And you defend it by calling it the usual. You defend it by calling it the norm, and you defend it by calling it a pattern. When in all reality, the fact that this is the usual, the fact that this is a norm, and the fact that this is a pattern of Trump's behavior, right, only gives you all the more reason to stop supporting him as president. But somehow, you still do.
Absolutely. You want to go to the next point or not?
We can move on to the next point. It's fine.
Sure. Let's talk about the Ukraine-Russia war. That's up there. Why don't we discuss that a minute? Would you want my point on why I support Trump in this, or?
Well, I don't know, man. Marco Rubio apparently told many members of our Congress that that 26-point plan to end the war was actually just presented by Russia, and then Donald Trump called it his own. Why is Donald Trump taking credit for the work of a dictator? Why is he taking credit for the work of a war criminal? Why is he taking credit for the work of somebody actively perpetuating an ethnic cleansing of another country?
So why? I didn't hear that. That one's a new one to me. Why is he a war criminal? I didn't. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one.
Because I think that ethnic cleansing. Because I think that ethnic cleansing is a war crime.
Ethnic and where do you see the ethnic cleansing? I'm just. Can you?
Yeah, for sure. Because Russia invaded Ukraine and is either killing or pushing out the Ukrainians in an attempt to illegally annex and claim the land of Ukraine. And in virtue of doing so, violating the right to self-determination of Ukrainians.
So, Dean, I agree with you on that 100%. 100%. I think what Russia did was wrong. I believe Ukraine was a sovereign nation and they had no right to do it.
Good.
Unfortunately, we're living in an age now where I don't want to see innocent people getting killed on either side. I think there's been way too much bloodshed, and I believe it's gone on way too long.
Yeah.
So if you've heard Donald Trump since he's been in office, he's tried to tone down the rhetoric and say, listen, too many people are unalive right now, and this has got to come to an end. And unfortunately, that means that Ukraine will have to, with a very good probability, have to give up some land for peace. Whether it's right or wrong.
If they give up land, then it's not peace. If they give up land, Russia will only continue to hit them harder after they step back, relock and load. Okay, what happened after? What was Ukraine's response to Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014? How did they respond?
So I agree with you. So there's nothing to talk about there. So here's what I have to hope for.
Can you answer my question? How did Ukraine respond to the illegal annexation? I'm not making a statement.
We both know what they did.
So when Russia illegally annexed Crimea in 2014, Ukraine responded with diplomacy. Ukraine responded by saying, well, it's still a part of our country, but we're just going to kind of leave it alone. Okay? Right?
Yeah.
Basically giving Russia that land. And then what did Russia do? They did it again. And they got their ammunition together. They got their troops together, right? They got their military together, and then they did it again. Okay?
Absolutely.
A concession to Russia, in Russia's eyes, is an allowance for more tyranny. So I do not think that we can equivocate between peace and concession of land to Russia, since that would continue to be the existence of an illegal annexation, which by virtue of said fact is necessarily not peaceful, and opens the door to Russia simply doing it again. Okay?
So
and maybe if Russia didn't do it again after they got quote unquote peace, when Ukraine kind of sort of peacefully conceded Crimea to them in 2014, I wouldn't be making the argument I am to you right now.
And you're making a good argument, and I can't, and I'm not going to argue with you about your argument. It's a great argument. However, people are dying on both sides. So let me just finish my point, and I'll be quick here. This is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping, unfortunately, that Ukraine's going to have to give up some more land, and I'm hoping Putin will be satisfied with that, and respect the sovereignty of Ukraine and not do it again. And one other thing that maybe
this is like expecting.
Wait. Let me just finish my one point, and I'll be quiet. Let me just one point.
Fine.
So Putin is not going to be in power forever. So let's hope the next leader of Russia says, you know what? Ukraine is a sovereign nation. We're going to respect their sovereignty, and this will be the last time what Putin has done now. This will be it. But the killing has to stop, and it has to stop now. And I'm willing to trade land for peace.
Hey, real quick. Expecting Putin to respect the sovereignty of Ukraine is synonymous to expecting a serial rapist to respect the consent of women and girls.
Well, I can see your point, but
right, because a serial rapist has made it clear multiple times. Just listen to what I'm saying here. A serial rapist has made it clear multiple times that they do not respect the consent of women and girls because they continue to violate it by continuing to rape women and girls. Just like Putin has made it clear multiple times that he doesn't respect the sovereignty of Ukraine because he continues to try to illegally annex it with the means of a use of a tool of ethnic cleansing. He did it with Crimea. He's doing it right now with the Donbass region. And I mean, he's even said in multiple interviews that he thinks a totality of Ukraine is a part of Russia, as it was a part of the USSR. So we know that he doesn't respect the sovereignty of Ukraine for the same reason we know that serial rapists don't respect the consent of women or girls.
So, again, I agree with you. But if we do nothing, the people are going to keep dying. And I think that's where you're losing. That's why I think we're losing each other.
So what you just said, that statement was factually correct. If we do nothing, people will keep dying. I couldn't agree more. That's why we should do something by stepping up more than we already are and applying more international pressure on Russia in conjunction with the EU, the UN, and any other good country in the world to stand 10 toes behind Ukraine and hold a red line at the illegal annexation of even a centimeter of Ukrainian land. Okay, because if we don't, if we do nothing, people will keep dying. If we just give the land to Russia, people will keep dying. My evidence is Russia getting the land of Crimea, then doing it again to Donbass and the rest of Ukraine in 2022 until now. So the only viable option to move forward in the true representation of attempting to save as much innocent human life as possible is to hold that red line and to refuse to negotiate with terrorists.
You're not accurate about what's going to happen if they do have another peace. You're assuming he's going to do it again, and you may be right, but you may be wrong. All I'm saying is
past actions are predictive of future ones.
Dean, I agree, but Dean, that they're dying every day. It's got to come to an end, and I'm willing.
And I just gave you an argument to demonstrate that I agree that people should stop dying, and the best way to reduce the highest amount of the life of innocent individuals is to hold that red line.
So let's go back to Donald Trump, because I think that's what the thing. What I admire about Donald Trump. We can talk about
whatever you want.
Thank you, Dean. And by the way, I appreciate you letting me talk. And I appreciate your demeanor on this. I don't know if it's a discussion or debate. Let's say it's discussion, because I don't think we need a winner. So I do appreciate it. And so let's go back to Donald Trump. When he first before he took the presidency, he said, "I'm going to end the war in one day." Obviously, it didn't happen. And then when he became president, he said, "You know what? I'll have this thing over and whatever. I'm going to get it over." And unfortunately, things have not gone as planned. And
I know what a failure of a president.
Well, at least he's trying to bring the war to an end. I didn't see Biden do anything in 4 years. But
then why has Russia been hitting Ukraine the hardest they have since the beginning of the conflict under Trump 2.0?
Besides that,
okay.
Trump has pivoted many a time, and he's bounced from side to side because he's trying to bring an end to the conflict. And I respect that, and I appreciate that. Again, it comes down to innocent people losing their lives on both sides. And I want that to end tomorrow or today.
I don't think Trump cares about violence. I think that
we're going to have to disagree on that.
You're assuming a posture of the man who Donald Trump is not caring about violence. Well, I could give you a really good reason why he doesn't care about violence.
Well, that's fine. I'm open.
I'm gonna give that reason to you, and I want to hear your refutation. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, I have a lot of points, so listen closely. One really compelling reason to believe, right, to make you believe that Donald Trump doesn't care about violence is after we had the violent J6 rioters try to kill cops on the steps of the Capitol on J6, like Officer Fanone, Donald Trump turned around and gave them full and complete presidential pardons and labeled them as patriots. If he cared about violence, then he wouldn't reward it. Not to mention that he's perpetuated violence himself. Rape is violent. He was adjudicated for the rape of E. Jean Carroll. Sexual exploitation is sexual violence, which is obviously violent. And he boasted about the sexual exploitation of naked women and girls at Miss Teen USA, Miss USA. And I mean, this is like a lifelong trajectory of this man, Mr. Donald J. Trump. He doesn't really seem to care about other people too much. He only really seems to care about himself and the furtherance of his own goals and gaining power, gaining influence, gaining money, gaining friends and fame, right? And I think that he's willing to do whatever it takes in order to get into that position, even if that position includes violence. And I would love to hear your refutation of the three arguments that I just gave you to demonstrate that Donald Trump doesn't care about violence. If you would like me to repeat them, feel free to ask, and I can make them a little bit more clear and a little bit more succinct.
No, I think you're very clear. So let's talk about the justice system, the 34 counts that were weaponized against them. I mean, we both know.
Well, keep in mind, I didn't bring up his 34 felonies because they were non-violent.
Okay, so let's go against. Well, again, when it's talking about women, I don't want to. I mean, I have to be careful. How many years before she brought this up? Was it 20 years or
It was 20. It was
years?
23, which I don't think it's a good argument to try to argue that if a woman was truly a victim of rape, they'd like report it to the cops the next day, not wait so long, considering the fact that over 63% of women that are raped don't report it to the authorities in their lifetime.
I understand, but you're asking me to give an argument. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know if it was true. I have 2 daughters, so I don't know if it was true. I'm just saying 23 years leaves some doubt in my mind, the validity of it. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Okay.
23 years. So, and I think a lot of people.
The thing is, so you're saying that the fact that she waited 23 years brings some doubt and question to the validity of the accusation. Well, I think that doubt and question should have subsided the moment the unanimous jury of 9 ruled that he is guilty of her rape. Okay. I think that doubt should have subsided the moment that Donald Trump went on Howard Stern's radio show and boasted about committing sexual violence against naked women and naked little girls too. I think that doubt should have subsided the moment a subcommittee from Congress released, I guess a couple weeks ago at this point, an email that Epstein had sent to Ghislaine Maxwell saying that Donald Trump knew all along what he was doing to those girls, compared to Donald Trump saying that he never knew, in conjunction to the fact that we got a letter that Trump sent to Epstein depicting the naked body of a woman with the statement, "May every new day be another wonderful secret." Okay, we have so much reason for your doubt to subside. And why don't the facts that I just brought up make your doubt subside?
Because I just told you 23 years is a long time to bring something up.
Okay. Considering every fact that I just brought up and another fact that I've already brought up, but I will repeat it now, which is the fact that 60% of the women that are raped never report it to the authorities in their lifetime, I think that this should make your doubt subside.
Okay, well,
right? Isn't it in character for a rapist to boast about sexually exploiting naked women and naked girls? Yes or no?
So
I want a yes or no to that question, please.
I haven't heard those conversations.
Okay, can I just get a yes or no? Can I just get a yes or no to my question?
No, you can't, because I haven't heard them, and I'm not going to comment about things I haven't heard.
Oh, well, now we're speaking like broadly.
And about the validity.
We're speaking broadly.
I can only
here.
talk about.
Listen. We're speaking broadly. We're speaking generally. We're no longer just specifically talking about Trump. In fact, if you want to treat this question as something completely decoupled and detached from Trump, that's fine. We can. I guess I'll make that clear. This question has nothing to do with Trump for right now. It's just a broad, general question. Can we agree that it would be in character for a rapist to literally boast and laugh, right, about sexually exploiting naked women and naked little girls?
He said things, again, that I've said to you in the beginning of this conversation that I wouldn't say that are outlandish.
Okay, so you're just simply not responding to my question, as well as for everybody on TikTok spamming, glitching in the chat. I do see that glitch. It seems like it's going away. So I'm going to repeat the question. Then I want you to repeat the question. Then I want you to respond to the question. Okay?
I'm listening.
Okay. So once again, I'm going to repeat the question. You're going to repeat the question. Then you're going to give your response to the question. All right. Here's the question. Unrelated to Trump. Unrelated to any specific individual, actually, would it be hypothetically in character for a rapist to boast and laugh about them sexually exploiting naked women and naked little girls? Yes or no? Now repeat the question, then answer.
Thank God I don't know anybody in that genre. I don't know those type of people, so I can't answer what they would do or wouldn't do. I wouldn't have any contact with those people in my life. So I couldn't answer.
I don't think that this is something that you'd have to ask a rapist. I think that this is an evaluation that we could make considering what rape is and what it would take for an individual to perpetuate it.
I think the word is and the act is revolting, and I'm 1,000,000% obviously against such a horrible, revolting act. That's something I'll tell you.
Okay, it just doesn't seem like Finn can give a straight answer to my question.